drop me off in Rotherham.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly!
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Everybody, welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and for the first time ever on this podcast, and for the first time in 50-something years, we're going to talk about Rotherham United beating Barnsley at Oakwell. So enjoy it, because it might not happen for another 55 years. But yeah, we're going to go through that, go through the hour, go through the next hour, go over yesterday. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Mick is back with us. How is Mick this Sunday evening?
It's all good, thank you very much. For you?
Very, very good. It's been a great weekend. Tom's back. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, no, good to be back on a regular episode again. On such a momentous occasion.
True. Kev's back as well. How you doing, Kev?
Very good, mate. A couple of things. What a way to start the show, by the way. And what a tune as well. Good times are coming. That sums up how I feel in a minute. And secondly, I just want to know how old Mick was when we last won at Oakwell. That's what I want to know.
4, mate.
Okay.
4 years old.
You remember it well, yeah?
Oh, God, like it were 55 years ago.
And Andrew's back with us. How you doing, mate?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Good to have everybody with us on a bumper episode. So, yeah, we are also going to start with saying hello to people. Gavin says he was there. But Aaron says he was there as well. Middlesex evening, what a win. Made even sweeter when he got home. A bit worse for wear. To see the look on his wife and son's face as they had been in the home end. Oh, I bet that was good. Sarah Ogden says, evening all brilliant day yesterday from start to finish. Also says, nice to say hello to Mick in person on the way out of the ground as Middlesex. Also the pleasure.
You need to set your bar higher than that, Sarah.
I saw Sarah in Irish bar.
Yeah,
And she hasn't mentioned that, has she?
No.
Although we were getting kicked out for singing Key and Spence, so there you
go. Loads of rhythms. Right, what we're going to do first is, Kev, talk to us about what you've been doing, and I'll get it up on the screen.
This is actually it is something to me, but it's not my idea. So everyone knows Paul Wixon, used to be club photographer for Rotherham United. He's 74 or 75. He's old anyway, older than Mick, and he's been doing this prostate. He's been doing this prostate UK. I think he's been biking 5k a day, which at his age is pretty amazing. And obviously Ross Burberry and the team have been doing the 10k runs every day for the whole of October to raise money for Prostate UK, which is amazing charity. Ross kindly donated via Paul 3 of the Prostate United shirts, which are signed by the whole squad. So we're doing the spin the wheel, which you'll do in a minute, Matt. But thank you everyone who's entered. I think we raised £275, which is a great little sum of money. And 3 people are about to win one of the Prostate United signed shirts. So good luck.
Absolutely. So if it goes wrong, we blame Kev because I have not done this. So what we need first of all is some of the comments. We're going to shuffle those names. So we'll do it quickly. Tom, how many times have we shuffle the names?
Oh, do I get chosen for this?
You get to choose how many times to press shuffle.
We'll do 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. First spinner of 3. That's really small, isn't it?
You can only win one, by the way. So if you get pulled out twice, you only get 1 shirt.
We have the first winner as Kerry Middleton. Is your first winner. So we're going to remove that one.
Yep.
And we're going to spin again. Somebody's having a good weekend. Somebody's not only seen Rotherham win yesterday, but they're also going to win some signed merch. We have the second winner as Anthony Kirkham, I think. Yeah, Anthony Kirkham, your second winner. And your final one is taking its time. We have
Kev Johnson.
Dale Walton is the
I
second.
was next. My name was next.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
God damn it.
So there we go, everybody. Congratulations to everybody that's won there. There's commiseration to everybody else that didn't win, but you've helped raise some money for Prostate Cancer UK, which I think is a pretty good thing. So well done, everybody. So yeah, right. Let's go on to yesterday, making a bit more detail. We'll go big picture, then we'll move on to the goal. Because that was the only thing that happened, really. Like I said, Mick, first time in something years, first time any of us have seen Rotherham win at Barnsley. Just talk to me about the day. It was it's pretty good.
It ended really well, didn't it? I mean, the game was a bit meh, but it was. It's just nice to break these little hoodoos into it, and that's probably one of the longest ones we've got. I would have thought. I can't. They're probably into another one other than winning a major trophy, which is never done. Yeah, I mean, just a good day. Good day. It's always great to go away on a local derby. You know, the games that I don't like. Win. I love them when we win. But yeah, I think overall, and I'm sure that any Barnsley fans watching will disagree with this. I think we were deserving to win. I know their manager doesn't agree with that, but I think we were on that second half performance. So yeah, good day was had by all.
Well, so
well, all count.
Yeah. See, makes it a perfect day as well. Wishes says evening all. I was 7-year-old last time we won that one. Dimmy Coy says evening guys, another great 3 points. Darren Cook as well. Kev, you're the Barnsley Miller around you as well, so I imagine even sweeter for you.
Oh mate, that walk over that bridge last night with 8,000 Barnsley fans was absolutely amazing. I was very vocal. I didn't hide my passion. I didn't hide how much I enjoyed it. It was just brilliant. But no, I was obviously to win in my local town makes it even sweeter. And after all them years, like obviously I was just a glint in the milkman's eye last time we won there. So nice to get there, nice to get the win, and we had a good night after as well. We had a good day in all, to be fair. Very, 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 really, really enjoyed his night. Short-lived in the Irish Parks, we did get kicked out for singing Key and Spence. But we're at somewhere. I ended up in Cutlers. I ended up getting a taxi to Cutlers. Yeah. Well, yeah, sweet to win, mate. Very, very sweet, especially on my own turf. Yeah, loved it.
Absolutely. We've got a Barnsley fan which has taken the defeat graciously well in the comments. So well done, you Reds. Very good. He's had a bad weekend, and he bless him. Or her. It could be a she. Could be this week. Tom, you had the difference of watching this at home because obviously you live a lot further away than Barnsley. Talk to me about watching it on telly and how the game came across to you, because obviously it's a different vibe.
I mean, as Mick said, I think the game was pretty poor. I don't think anyone's going to really complain, but a win's a win. Yeah, I mean, look, the first half was a bit of nothing really. No team, we were exceedingly poor, and Barnsley weren't much better in my honest opinion. Whereas second half, we did what we've been doing the last 4 or 5 games, which is just hanging in there. And then second half, you make a proper upheaval and you make some subs, and yeah, we just turned it on second half, which is something that we've been saying other teams have been doing against us start of the season. The other teams have sort of turned it on after the break, and now we're starting to do that. So yeah, no complaints from me. I don't know how well you saw the strike from, from the stand, but if you watch it back, it's great technique and just outrageous.
Yeah, I think the guys that were further up that didn't have the sun in their eyes all the game probably had a pretty good view of it. The sun in my eyes all game, absolute nightmare. Yeah. But I still wouldn't change it. Andrew, last time we played Barnsley, obviously in August, I was sat near you, and we were very happy as we walked out the stadium. A very, very, very different feeling this time.
Yeah, I think I've only ever been to Barnsley maybe 4 or 5 times, and every time I think we drew once. But other than that, it's always been defeat. So it just felt really, really positive. It was a really great atmosphere. Everybody was smiling, laughing, and it's been a long, long time. And my last away game that I saw as win was Sheffield United away, and it felt. I'm going to say it felt similar to that. Obviously, local derby. I think we weren't under the cosh as much as we were in that game. at Sheffield United. But yeah, had similar vibes.
Yeah, absolutely did. As somebody pointed out, it was the Millers' number 8 scoring the only goal to break a long-time curse over a
Well, I
Southwich
didn't
rivals.
even notice that actually.
A little bit of symmetry with that from where I can't remember put it in the comments, but I did appreciate that. There's lots to talk about in terms of the game. It was a poor game, but there's still lots to go. We're going to come back to every other incident that happened, but we're going to talk about Kean Spence's strike because I want to, because it was a great moment. He didn't start the last game, he wasn't going to start against Leyton Orient, but played and forced his way back in, and forced his way to stay in there. And he had a brilliant game, but the technique on that volley, it wasn't a thunderous strike. He kind of cut across it a little bit, and that's an even harder technique than just nailing it, to be honest with you, because it was just perfect strike.
Yeah, it was, and it looked from where we were sat as if he'd absolutely nailed it. You know, but obviously watching it back, he clearly didn't. The technique is even better, as you said, and keeper had no chance. So yeah, it was a fantastic goal, and celebrated as such. It got the celebration it deserved. We don't seem to score tap-ins, do we? Having said that, obviously Nombe scored one last time out, but some of the goals that we're scoring most of them are coming from midfield. They're not coming from strikers. You know, so once the strikers hit the straps, which they will at some point, the future's looking bright in that respect, because there's goals coming from everywhere. But I like Kean Spence from the moment I saw him, and it's now his shirt to lose. That I would argue, given the 2 performances he's put in on the bounce. I'm sure is going to have some serious midfield headaches. But him and Dan Gore, there is no way that they should be losing those shirts, quite frankly, given the performances that they put in. So, but yeah, what a strike! It's a great way to win a derby, a great goal to win a derby.
Yeah, absolutely is. He keeps comparing him, Kev. He keeps comparing Spence to Frecklington. Goal had the echoes of Frecklington a little bit. Also the same shirt, which helps. Yeah. But Frecklington had the ability to score great goals in really, really important games. And that kind of ticked both those boxes. He's doing everything. He's endearing himself to Rotherham fans. Even if he didn't score yesterday, I still loved him. But adding to that goal as well, I think he's fast becoming a lot of people's favourite player. Absolutely. And he's probably fast becoming Matt Amshaw's first name on team sheet as well, because he just gives everything. And he's I think he reminds me of Frecklington a bit. He also reminds me of Ollie Rathbone a bit. He also reminds me of Ben Wiles a bit. It's almost like they've cloned them 3 players and put them together and got Kean Spence. And it's like, it's a dream come true, because it's exactly what we've been missing. We've been missing that bit of something different in midfield, and he brings it. So, like Mick says, I mean, well, he can't drop Spence, but he's got some ideas to come forward, which is great. And I think his goal technically, he said it after the game in his interview. It weren't just like, I've played football, not at that level, but I've played football. Sometimes when the ball comes out 20 yards out, you just shut your eyes and put your toe laces through it. Yeah. He actually said he saw where the keeper was, and he knew as soon as he hit it, we're going in. It was the way he started outside the post. He knew we were going to go in. It was just such a good technique and a great goal. Yeah, he's absolutely Tom, and he's caused a problem because all those other midfielders are very, very good. But Spence just looks like he has that goal in him. We saw a goal against Oldham, I think it was, which is equally as good a goal, to be honest. But it gives us something else that none of the other midfielders do. And don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about Dan Gore, and he's a fantastic player. But Spence just gives you that probably goal threat, which none of the other 5 or 6 midfielders give us, I think, at the minute. And it's shown yesterday. Yeah, he's got a knack for it, and he should have scored against Wimbledon as well, which I don't know how it got bundled off the line or whatever it was. So, yeah, he comes with a good pedigree from League Two, and maybe now the difference between League One and League Two isn't actually as it once was, because he's taken it in his stride fully, and he looks like a complete League One player, as Kev said. You know, with all those players combined, he's got that goal scoring ability that is just kind of just natural. He's just excellent. He's a really good footballer. And I think obviously you have to be there
in the right positions and with the right techniques and stuff. But his just overall graft it is going to fall for him, and it is going to work in his favor just because he's got that Rathbone engine of just not stopping. And I think actually probably a better engine, if I'm being honest, because he's quick along he's quick on the grass. So yeah, I love Spence. I think he's what we've been missing for the first 6 or 7 games of the season when he was out. Yeah, he's an excellent player.
Yeah, it may turn out to have been a bigger miss than Nombe potentially in terms of how he's impacted the team so far. Time will tell on that one, obviously. Neil says, saw Spence a few years ago at Halifax, and he's progressed and will continue to do so. Yeah, you've got to assume he will, Andrew. Like I say, he ticks every box that we need at the minute. He's a good link-up. He looks calm on the ball, but on the goal, it wasn't a perfect performance by Rotherham United. But one of the hallmarks, to go back to the last great team, which was the Warney team, whenever balls went into the box, we didn't always win that first ball. We were always on that second ball. And if we didn't win that second ball, we weren't far off. And that goal kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It was an edge of the box strike, but it was winning that free ball on the edge of the box, which you get goals from it. And yesterday showed that for me. I wonder how much I was trying to drill that in, and obviously it paid off yesterday.
I think him just sitting there when crosses come in and stuff like that, and waiting. It's exactly. I think your comparison earlier to Wiles and Rathbone, we've missed both of those, and we've never replaced them. We've now replaced them with one player, and he's so comfortable on the ball, makes stuff happen, but he's also really tenacious in the challenge as well. Similar to Gore, I think there's similar types of players in a sense. And at times, because if I've not got my glasses on, right, I struggle to see which one's which. But ultimately, I think the point you're making about us missing him, we didn't realise we missed him until he started playing, and he took a bit of time to get back into it as well. I must admit, during that Oldham game, I think I said to my son, I said, I'm struggling to see what he does. And then about 35 seconds later, he belts that goal in. I thought, I'm really glad he didn't put a tweet out, because I almost...
Yeah, I thought exactly the same. That first half against Oldham in particular, I thought, I'm not sure, Spencer. I'm not sure about this kid. And then he pings it in, and he's not looked back, and should be one of the first names on the team sheet going forward. Chris Taylor says Spence and Gore are the new Rolls Royces of League One, which I think is not far off. Mick, let's go back to the start of the game. The first 45 minutes, let's kind of sum those up, because at half time, there was a lot of puzzled Rotherham fans' faces, I think, a little bit. Yeah. Because look, we got in at half time, so this might be a bit hard, but I think I'm sure we got it wrong in the first half. And I know he was hurt by Denzel Hall not being fit and available, and probably Reece James is probably not fit and fully available. But it was just wrong. Barnsley, we allowed Barnsley to come onto us too much. We allowed them too much low. We were too easy to play around. It just wasn't a good first half, and I'm not going to say we were lucky to go 0 because Barnsley didn't really hurt us, but at the same time, that was not a good Rotherham performance in the first half.
I would say first half an hour. I think you're right. I think they dominated the game. They dominated the ball. They had a lot of success down their left-hand side, our right, which turns out that Rafferty was carrying an injury by the sounds of it. So that's not really too much of a surprise. And given also we played McWilliams down there, who's not a right back, a right wing back, or a defender, he was also a little bit lost. So you got the kind of perfect storm with Barnsley's left winger, who had a decent turn of pace and seemed to be a decent player, to be fair. Probably one of the few that they'd got in there, arguably. And they moved the ball around. I said this in post-match yesterday. They moved the ball around really, really well and really quickly until they got to final third, and then they didn't know what to do with it. They had no end product whatsoever. They won a few corners. Nothing. They hit the post in the first 2 minutes, I think, didn't they? Which was arguably pretty bad defending, really, to leave a man open on that back post. But after that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember him threatening our goal at all. They may have had a couple of weak shots, but they appeared to me in that first half an hour to be a typical League One side, like we've talked about, or I have banged on about anyway. they can play a little bit of pretty football, they can knock it about a little bit, but when they get to the business end of the field, they don't really know what they're going to do. They've got no plan, and it just peters out. And by the end of the half, the last 15 minutes, I would argue, we kind of got the number really, and we just soaked it up and let them run out of steam, and they did. That's exactly what they did. They just ran out of steam, ran out of ideas. So you say he got it wrong. It worked. And
we won, didn't we? So
right. We went in nil at half time, which I think arguably would be what the first. Either go in leading, obviously, if you can, but certainly don't go in losing. And I don't think we were really at any point other than that efforting first 2 minutes in danger of going in the ball down. So you could say he got it wrong, but it worked on this occasion.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Kevin? Am I being too harsh on Hampshire and the setup, or was it? Should we then be praising him for the changes that he made later on in the game, because they did really impact the game?
Yeah, I think so, and I also think he got it right in some ways, because I do think that was part of his plan to get in at 0-0 at half time. Because let's be right, it couldn't. We'd have all liked to see Sam Nombe on the starting team sheet, but we couldn't do like too soon to risk it. So I think part of his plan would have been, let's get in at half time, 0-0, or in the game, get Nombe on, change everything up, and that's what it did. It really did work, and I agree with Mick. Apart from that, when I think McGoldrick hit the corner of the post, the crossbar in first minute. I think Cam Dawson made one good save from a free kick, tipped it over.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. Well, I was gladly disappointed how poor Barnsley were. And speaking to fans afterwards, they were. I mean, a lot of them were saying Conor Horan's got to go and stuff like that, which I don't get. It's a bit harsh, a bit over the top reaction, but they were saying he got their tactics massively wrong, like playing McGoldrick on the wing, and I don't know. It just felt like, especially as soon as that goal went in, Barnsley were just a shadow. We could have gone on to get one or two more goals, I think, after that. And the irony is, in the first half, the guy on the left wing, he's the guy who actually got absolutely ripped a new one by in the cup game by Martha. Martha absolutely rallied him all over, and he had a great game yesterday. He looked very dangerous, and I just don't know. I just think Amy got it right, and I think he. I'm not saying that was his plan all along. But getting at 0-0, and then he changed it, and you've got to take your hat off to him for changing at half time, and whatever he did and said worked. A treat.
Yeah, we'll come into substitutions because he nailed every single one of us again, as he did last week, Tom. But again, I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit by saying that one of the things we criticised Hampshire for probably a month or two ago was his inflexibility to change things at all. Never mind pre-game and then during the game as well. He was not playing players in the right position. He's not adjusting his tactics. I suppose you have to say, and again going against myself, that he did change his tactics to fit the situation, to fit that Nombe can't start, to fit the Hall can't start with all those other ones. And he deserves a massive amount of credit for changing it first half, and also for the in-game changes as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's still that bit of stubbornness with the formation, because you're resulting on two central midfielders playing out wide, and I think that was the big issue in the first half, because it did show. McWilliams, their lad was obviously, I thought he was the best player on the pitch, to be honest. He just looked like he could do something every time, and then you match him up with a midfielder who's known for his like combativeness and sort of getting about the pitch, and it just wasn't a match that worked in our favour, basically. So the wing backs are still an issue because we're still not quite settled there personnel wise. Hall's a great option there, Coletta's as well, but with injuries and whatnot, you kind of struggle. But I think second half I think the play. I don't know. For me, it didn't feel like tactics changed as much as the players lifted up a bit more. Nombe gives you such an outlet. I thought that was Nombe's worst game for us this season, just in terms of like ineffectiveness. But even how ineffective he was, he still gives you that option down the channels and in spaces in behind the defense that just get you out of trouble, and he's so good at it. You won't find another player in League One that does it as well as he does. He's just an excellent player. So I think maybe they tweaked tactics here and there, but for me, I think Sean McWilliams had a much better second half. I think as soon as Denzel Hall and Nombe came on, that's when it really changed, because Hall dealt with their winger quite comfortably. So yeah, to me, it's such a pleasure and treat that we can bring players off the bench like Nombe and Hall, that it's just, I think as a manager you must love it. So I don't think he needed to do much tactically. Just bring on his enforcers, and that's what he did do.
Yeah, John Davis says he only had 2 fit strikers, so couldn't go 2 up from the start. Adam says we were time wasted in the first half, going 0-0 at half time, and not bail.
It did feel like that's what we were doing there.
Yeah,
it felt like we were waiting to put Nombe on, and then we'll give it a go.
I said it about half an hour. I said about half an hour in. That's the plan. Getting 0 at half time and make changes. It felt like it to me.
Definitely,
it's a risk going out. It worked, Andrew. But if McGoldrick scores inside 2 minutes, we could be having a very different conversation.
Massively. I had the same conversation on Saturday. I thought that's exactly what we're doing. Getting it 0-0. Felt like we were doing it. I think you put that we were trying to contain them, I think, in the first half, and that saw that on Twitter. And that's exactly what we felt like we were doing. Like you said, though, that could have gone horribly wrong. But the first half didn't feel that different to the Leyton Orient first half, in a sense, although we tried to have a little bit more attacking threat. But it was, I guess, Orient weren't, I'm not saying Barnsley were great, but Barnsley offered more going forward. And like the Powell and McWilliams grew into the game as well in the second half. And I think, like Tom said, just having Nombe there as an outlet, it gets us up the pitch, and that's the biggest thing. Hugill tried, like I've softened a bit on him on over these past few weeks, but he tries, but he's not that type of player, is he? He's not going to get you up the pitch, is he? So, like you said, it could have gone catastrophically wrong, and we could have been 2 or 3 knocked down, but we weren't, and we got away with that. And second half, I thought we edged it. Obviously, we got the goal, but I thought we just edged it and looked solid. I didn't feel threatened. I think that McGoldrick effort from outside of his foot boot, which I don't know how close it were, but from where I was stood, with the angle like that, it looked quite close. So.
Yeah. Well, Nombe, I think there was that cross in the box from left-hand side, which their defender deflected out for a corner. I thought Nombe could have got an end of that. And also Dan Gore hits the bar as well. So,
yeah.
I think we have the better of the chances.
In fact, did Nombe win the free kick that we scored from? I'm pretty sure when he won that one where he kind of backed into him and he did one of those things that we all get frustrated about, where he didn't actually touch it and got a free kick for it. Well, we normally moan about, but like free kick that.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that we complain about, we should highlight that Dawson did do the classic go down when your team's under pressure and run to the sideline. So call them up.
After Rafferty were moaning about it on there. I think I thought about that.
I did chuckle when it happened.
Glad we can laugh about it, and like glad they didn't do it when we were losing. Steve, as we were so much more robust as a whole team now in the season, we used to go 1 up and then wait to concede. Mick, we're a different kettle of fish now, and again, it's only 4 or 5 games, whatever it is, and we're, again in 10 games time, we might be having a very different conversation. But right now, there's some steel, there's some battle, there's some character, there's that willingness to almost die for your team on the pitch. It's everything we've asked for since survival in the Championship. Everything we've asked for, and it's we're getting there. We're not there. Matt Hamshaw said himself, we're not there, but we are absolutely feels like we're on the right path to where we want to be.
It's interesting, isn't it, that when Matt Hamshaw came in, he only made one promise to supporters. One promise, and it's exactly what you're talking about there. It's taken time, but it's starting to show. That willingness to throw your body on the line. What he called it, the Rotherham United DNA. But we talked to Joe Rafferty the other night, and he talked about telling us about the tackle he remembers Alex MacDonald making, and it just lifted the whole stadium. That's what Hamshaw was talking about. That's what we all want. And those last 2 minutes against Orient absolutely proved it with people throwing their bodies on the line. And now the resilience, once we do go ahead, or even if we go behind, it's starting to come through. It's starting to show that attitude and that desire and that passion. It's what's a couple of things that surprised me at the end of the game yesterday. Players like Zach Jules, I don't know whether anybody else noticed Zach Jules' reaction at the final whistle.
Yeah.
He was absolutely, he was screaming. He was so happy. You know, it means a lot to him, and it means a lot to a lot of these players. And as the season goes on, hopefully it'll continue. That will build. That appears to be what's happening. Yeah. It's early days, and it's a fragile thing, or it can be a fragile thing in its early days, can't it? But we showed it again yesterday. Arguably, I think Andrew said it. You know, we could and probably should have scored again, almost straight away after we got the first one. But when we didn't buckle. We dropped deeper, but we didn't drop too deep like we have been doing. It's starting to change. It's definitely starting to change. Hopefully, we can build on it, and if we can, who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Rapidly on Thursday, we're talking about, or Friday, we're showing out talking about playoffs or better. Yeah. So there's that shows that again. It's a daft thing. We're 10 games, whatever, 10, 12 games in, Kev, but it shows that not only those players, as with all things we've just mentioned there about giving everything for the team, they've obviously got that belief. If you think you can make playoffs, bear in mind you were in the relegation zone 10 days ago. If you've still got that belief, that's half of the battle in football. You've got to believe, and they obviously do.
Definitely, mate. I actually backed us 2 weeks ago, 150-1 for promotion. They're not 150-1 now. I'll tell you that for a fact. They're not. But yeah, no, it does, and I think that he spoke about it a few times, and I saw. I talked to Rafferty at the Centenary Awards night thing, and him and Cam Dawson were saying exactly the same thing. That we'd had a really, really poor start and pressure on already, and they really did believe it, and you got that feeling as a fan that you believe what they're saying, that they really were there to play. Like, none of these lads are local. Rafferty's from Liverpool, and they're not local lads. Dan Gore's Manchester. Some of them are Dutch, I don't know, from anywhere, but they're not Rotherham lads who typically played for Rotherham with a heart and sleeve. But that's what Matt Amshaw is trying to instill. And if we can see that progress now, and he's only had one winner, this is what I've been saying all along. Give him 2 or 3 winners, and who knows what can happen. We could get it. What Paul Warren did for us back then, we'll get it all back and more. But that's why we were all saying before, and most of the fans, you've got to give him time. And it all might change. We might lose next 4 games on trot. It might all change, but that belief's back, and fans are now smiling again and believe. Back to the game yesterday, I didn't see, for the first time in a while, like when about sitting back at 1-0, I never felt threatened at all. It was weird. I didn't feel they were going to score at all. It was bizarre.
Yeah, I'm going to come on to that, Tom, as well. I think that's important because they had loads of corners yesterday. I mean, I haven't got a count on me, but it felt like they had 10 plus corners. And other than the one in the first minute or two, they didn't hurt us once. And what we'd normally be saying, as the IFC often refers to them as beasts, we're doing fine without the beasts. Without Tom Holmes and without Sean Raggett. We were all worried with those two kind of physicality missing, but we just look so confident, and from crosses and from corners where we've looked fragile 6 games ago, we look so comfortable against Leyton Orient last week and against Bradford. Even though they scored 2 goals, they weren't set piece goals. We look so much better and organised from these set pieces. I agree with Kev. They never really threatened us, I don't think, certainly from corners.
No, and give him his flowers. I think Zach Jules has done an excellent job in the past 3 or 4 games. He had a very rough start to the season, to the point where I don't even think he'd be in the squad if we had a fully fit, team. But he's worked his way back in, and he looks a bit more of a, because he's a big lad. He's always been a big lad, but he was soft at the start of the season, and there was moments of real weakness in his game. But now he's like he wins every duel in the air. He's there at corners. He's there at crosses into the box. He's organising. He's leading that back 3. He's made a massive difference to that back 3, and credit to Baptiste as well after that showing against Bradford. He was another one who's done really well in the past few games. And you're talking about everyone's buying into it. Even the lone lads are buying into it fully. You mentioned Dan Gore before, but I thought Baptiste was majorly bought into that win, and it just means a lot to them. And I think when it means a lot and the confidence is high and your momentum is taking you into games. You know, you're going to win that second ball. You're going to win challenges in the air. You're gonna win that 50-50. I just think it's going in our favour at the minute, and it's gonna stop eventually. But let's hope it dips and it fires back up again, because we've got the makings of something really, really good, and I think that comes from that back three of especially Jules and Baptiste are doing an outstanding job back there, and to add Holmes and Agbear back to that, and Raggett if needed is not bad options, are they? So yeah, we're looking solid.
Yeah, I think it screams good management. Harry says, I don't like how the loan players are buying into it, because it means I'll be more upset when they leave. But doesn't it just scream great management that he's got this group of players that have barely been here together, and they were celebrating as much as us yesterday, Andrew. And some of them only been here for a short. I know some have got history from last year, but to me, and you can see that, and not just the Barnsley game, the Leyton Orient game, and when we lost against other teams, it screams he has got those players to buy in, whether they're good or not, and we'll debate his tactics another week or whatever. The management style seems right now, of this so far this season, like he's absolutely nailing it. These players are all in.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. When final whistle went, I looked down and you've got Dawson, Jules, Baptiste, Raggett, all of them, Denzel all there, kind of hugging, turning around to the fans and getting it bigger. And it were one of them moments where it just felt just that little bit there, other than the win, felt a bit special. Thought, this is something's happening again here. That might be being a bit sort of like things will go wrong. But it felt like we've not had that in such a long time. They've not had that togetherness in such a long time. And things like you're talking about good management. I think there were a point on yesterday when Baptiste got the ball and he cleared it out for a throw. No messing about, got it out for a throw. And that's his learning from that Bradford performance. Yeah. Basic, simple things that need to be done when they needed to be done and get it out. And he's massively grown. And I think Tom kind of nicked me monologue on Zach Jules. I've got this monologue prepared about how amazing he was, because I think he was my man at match yesterday. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I thought he led the line. He's exactly what we've been crying out for. When Holmes came in and we had that one game where he was leader, Jules is leading, maybe not verbally, but by his performances. He won everything in air yesterday, pretty much everything. Yeah. And he was class. I mean, you can't be a good team without building on solidity, a good defence, and it seems to be coming. And even Dawson, he's still got. There's times where you feel with Dawson that there's something there where he's going to make a mistake or something. But even he were a lot more solid. He even came out for a couple of crosses at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, most commanding Dawson's been, I think, all season yesterday. He made the saves he made were pretty standard, to be fair. And his kicking wasn't great, but he commanded his area really, really well. Let's go through some of the comments. Harry says there was a lot of that yesterday. Every slide tackle was cheered. Yeah. Hadders says the atmosphere away yesterday. I wish we had that back at our place. If we keep playing like that, it won't be long till it's back, mate. It won't. He also had 7 points off the playoffs. We're getting giddy.
How
many?
When off top. That's the first time I've looked at top at table all season. When I have 9 points at top at table.
Stop it, because Harry will be booking us again.
Yeah.
Well, we played before most other teams. So if we beat Burton in a week's time, we'll be 8th, I think, or something really stupid like that. Because that's that game in hand to a lot of these teams. Steve says absolutely it was the most comfortable I felt 1-0 for years, partly resilience, partly down to their ineffectiveness, which is true. Steve Mick says there seems a lot of togetherness in this team. Right, so he says surely Hammy wins manager of the month. No, we don't want him winning the manager.
No.
You can keep that. You can keep that award.
There's better managers. There's better managers.
Yeah, definitely. And none of our players have been good at this month either. You don't want to pick any players for player month either.
Peterborough manager, he could have manager at month.
There's a new one on Monday. I think he's called Darren.
Well, he can have it then.
It's Grant McCann's turn again. So they're just rotating out. It's Grant McCann's back there. Dan Gore, Mick. I've got a couple of players I want to mention, but Dan Gore was our pick for man of the match yesterday. And when we spoke yesterday, neither of us knew it was Dan Gore that hit the bar. which adds it further into it as well. Just Dan Gore being Dan Gore, I am almost running out of things to say, to be honest with you, because he's just getting better and better and better and better. I think he's, anyway.
Oh, that's it. Give me then if there's nothing else to say about it.
You'll find a way.
I don't know what else to say. He's showing his absolute quality, isn't he?
Yeah.
Game after game after game after game. And there's no reason whatsoever that any Port Vale fans will be watching this. But if you are, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, absolute quality. Absolute quality. You can't. He just, for a lad of his age to have the ability to impact a football match at this level is fantastic. Given his experience, you know, I mean, how many league games have he played before us? 20 minutes for Port Vale, I think, weren't it? And that was it. That was only taste of senior football. And much like a lot of the others, Baptiste, as another example, he's exactly the same boat. You know, he's brand new to football, if you like, at this level. Yeah, senior football. That's the word I'm looking for. And he's just nailing it. He's absolutely nailing it. And it's getting a little bit boring, to be honest, saying he's man of the match every week. We're gonna have to. I'm with Andrew. I'm erring on the side of Zach Jules. I think I said that yesterday.
Yes.
It was a toss up between the two for me, but I think Gore, obviously, because of the actual impact he has on the game going forward, he just kind of shaded it. But what a player! Yeah. What a player! Out of contract at Man U into end of season.
Don't.
We can't afford him, mate. There is no way we could afford him.
There's no way.
The only way you get him is if you get promoted, which I think is obviously very unlikely. But I think that's the only way it happens.
Yeah.
When we had him last year, Kev, we only played him for like an hour combined. But and we all loved him. We all, especially against whoever Peter last game of the season, we all loved him. But he is a very different player now than we saw on that day. On that day, it was all energy. It was aggressive. It was really far forward. Yeah. Now we're asking him to sit a lot deeper, and he's just controlling the game. He's doing the Richie Smallwood stuff almost, but it was obviously much better on the ball. Yeah, he's developed in these last, when they start the season, whatever it's 12, 13 games, he has developed probably more than anybody else, to be honest with you, because he had a slow start and now he's just everywhere.
Absolutely. And I mean, look at his background. Look at where he's come from. You know, it's like a Group 1 winner in racehorse. I mean, he started at a proper stable and worked. So and I think last year, I'm not going to blame Steve Evans anyway at all, but maybe when man managed, maybe there were a few things with injuries, and there were some rumours that he weren't injured, he were injured. No one ever came out and said anything to defend him or thing. Maybe it just weren't quite in the right frame of mind at that point. But we all knew that quality there. We could see it, and he proved that towards the end of the season. But this year he's just a different beast. He's just settled in. He's happy. He's playing with a smile, and you can tell he's that type of player. He's a what do you call it? Confidence player. So when he's happy and he's smiling, he's confident. It's just a joy to watch. And I used to joke not last year before with Victor Johansson. I used to put a tweet out at 2:59 every Saturday saying, "Congratulations, Victor Johansson, on man of match this week." And it's exactly like this with Dan Gore now. You just know you're going to get that performance from him. It's just amazing to watch. I can't see any way at all we're going to keep him. Like, if we get promoted, there's probably a slight chance. And I think that'll maybe if someone signs him for decent money and loans into us, because we can't afford him. He's just different gravy.
Yeah.
The big worry is he might get called back in January. Yeah, that's the big worry, really.
They're playing too well for that. Aren't they? They're playing too well. He's developing incredibly well. He's playing at the top of his game. It would do him more harm than good now to bring him back in January and send him out to a championship club where he gets no football. Or he gets football and gets his confidence kicked.
Yeah, you know? The more like to sell him though in January. If they're going to sell him, you're that contract in summer. If you're going to sell him, you sell him in January, don't you?
Yeah.
Is someone going to pay a big fee? So is someone going to pay a fee in January though? I don't know. He's had 12 decent games at League One level. It's not really. Don't really scream. Here's £2 million. No,
that's true. That is very true. Oh yeah. Stop playing so well, Dan Gore. Basically, if you keep playing well, if you start scoring, we're in trouble. Start hitting goals for his game, we're done for. Can't believe the same Dan Gore who hated playing for us had faked him for last season. Never fallen in love with a lone player. just be like, Tom, is there anybody else you want to pick out for performances yesterday? It wasn't a sparkling performance, but it was. But there are still some good names to pick out there.
Yeah, it was defensively. I think we've covered the basics of every player was sort of did their job and did it well. Martha's becoming a proper player, isn't he? He got fouled 7 or 8 times, didn't he? Yeah. He's just again a confidence player. They all are. They all seem to be a bit of confidence players. And look, when it's going in your favour, which it has been doing, then that's excellent because they're just going to keep getting better. But when times are tough, you do sometimes have to rely on those players who like Martha, who can get you out of a jam. Because I still think we've seen maybe 50% of Martha, because what instances you see of him, he can be that player, and he's still playing well now. I thought he had a good game yesterday, but for a fact that he can turn it up another 2 or 3 levels, and he is someone that all the signings that we've made in the summer, I think he's the one that you can probably bank on doing the best, basically based on his attributes and how technically gifted he is. I mean, he's such a nice player to watch. Similar to Dan Gore in a lot of ways. Martha's a bit more exciting and skillful, but so smooth on the ball, glides across the pitch. He's just and the effort he puts in. He's a proper grafter as well, which I didn't take him for. But yeah, he's we still need to get the best out of him, but there's a player there.
Yeah, you think when you see Martha for 5 minutes that you've got to be a luxury player. It was not going to do much, but when he's up ball, it'll be like exciting. No. He's just not that at all. No. He has that exciting in his talk about his work rate yesterday, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
Andrew, first half yesterday, Josh Benson and Martha played together, which they did against Bradford, and they were really effective against Bradford. It didn't really work out for Benson. It's 2 weeks in a row now. Benson's been yanked at half time. And you look at the Northampton game and the Bradford game where he was so effective. In these last 2 games, he's fallen off a cliff a little bit. And that's if there's any concern from yesterday, that was my concern that which worked so well now isn't really working in the last 2 games.
One of my mates mentioned it yesterday, and he said, like when Nombe came on, he's running into every tackle, like he don't care, like he's not concerned. It's like Benson's got this, and he's had so many injuries. It's like he's playing with the fear of getting injured again. These past 2 games especially, and you feel like, I don't know, there's something missing there. There were little glimpses here and there where he'd get the ball, and he's got the intelligence to be a really good footballer. But there's been something missing in these last 2 performances, which for me, obviously the next 2 games are cup games. So I wouldn't, if it were a league game, I wouldn't start him in this next league game. If it were a league game, now I'm not bothered about these 2 cup games really. I'd like us to win them because it keeps that momentum going. But ultimately, I just think he's the one weak point of the last 2 performances, really, and that feels harsh because he's still got a very good skill set. He can still put good balls into the box, but other players have performed better.
Yeah, I agree. We'll talk about the Virtue Trophy in a second. But Neil says Martha is a bit like Chio when he first came to us. Yeah, absolutely. Usually says, can't praise Martha enough. Love the bloke. Steve says Martha beats better than anybody in the league, I suspect. It might be the find of the season. It's early days, but it might be the find of the season in this league, Martha. It really could be.
There's one thing slightly frustrates me, and it's naivety, and he's young. He just needs to release ball a bit sooner sometimes. Yeah. He likes to hold on to it a little bit too much, but he's a young lad. He's still full of exuberance and trying to do magical things, do you know what I mean? So I think we'll give you the benefit of doubt on that, but sometimes you just think, if you'd have just released it there, we might have got a move going. But I'll forgive him.
Yeah, I can't wait till we let him leave for a free transfer in 2 years. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly. Chris says, what odds on winning our next 4 home games? Yeah, 4 home games in a row.
Really?
Man City under 21s, Swindon at home, Swindon FA Cup, then it's Burton, then it's Lincoln City, then it should probably be the international break.
Yeah, but we've seen this 3 games after that.
I've seen Reading,
Luton, Reading, and who else is it? Someone good. We've got 3 tough games.
Luton should be the international break game, so that should be moved, that one.
Yeah.
But they have the first 2 moved.
Wickham are the other one.
Ooh, they've come into form, haven't they, Wickham?
Yeah.
So let's get the points on the board before we play the big boys. I want to touch before we touch on anything else, Kev, is when Jordan Hugill came off yesterday, it wasn't great yesterday. It was fine. I'm not criticising Hugill. But when he came off, I thought back 12 months. And I thought back to the game last year at Barnes when we lost 2-0 and Jordan Hugill came off and he was getting dogs abuse.
Yeah.
And it just, the contrast that 2,000 men and women stood up, applauded him, and he wasn't great, but they were all with him. And that just contrasted the 12 months ago, that moment. It was just, fans were fantastic, players were fantastic. Just summed it up to me.
Yeah, I think so, and I agree with might be Andrew or Tom who said it about warming to Hugill or easing off a bit, and I'm saying I hands up have been probably his biggest critic ever in this last 12 months. I told him so. I told him in Albufeira when I was pissed up. I probably shouldn't have. I did. But I just think I don't know. It is the Jordan Hugill of West Ham United and all that is gone. It was 10 years ago, whatever it were. That player's gone. We're not going to get that 20-plus goals a season out of Jordan Hugill, but what he now brings is his game's adapting. I just think he's playing with a bit more passion, a bit more heart. We know, he's not got that finish anymore like he used to have. I really generally don't think he has, and that's not a criticism. It's an age thing. He's getting to the latter years of his career, but he still brings us something different, and I think that's why the fans appreciate it. They appreciate that. Yeah, he's not doing brilliant for us. He's not doing great things for us, but he plays with his heart on his sleeve. What he does. He tries his best. And I think fans appreciate that. That's why sometimes I do stand and think, why are they chanting his name? He's just had a stinker. But, he's a likeable guy. He clearly wants to do well. He loves the team. He clearly loves them. He loves his teammates. And that's all you can thank him for. And he is doing a job. He's doing a job, whether it's freeing up something for Nombe or winning a free kick or doing something. He's got a job to do and he's doing it. So long may it continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Paul Rose says had her Hugill shirt on as well. Just the contrast again to last couple of times we've been to Barnsley, Andrew. We talked about that earlier this season. The last one as well, and I don't know if you went to the Alan Stubbs one as well. The end yesterday, the atmosphere yesterday, it could not be more chalk and cheese than any of our previous visits to Oakwell, could it? It was just 2,000 people all together with the players on the pitch. It's just such a contrast.
Well, the league game last year was probably one of the most toxic environments in an away end I've been in, and even how we're involved in it. I'm a 45-year-old man, I've got a professional job, and I'm shouting dogs abuse at grown men. And then, but equally yesterday, I was a complete opposite end of the spectrum, and it was just you talked about it. I think it was with Rafferty on the podcast on Thursday, where you were talking about the away end being a perfect away end for winning away from home, and they were down to us, and you're not fit to wear the shirt 12 months ago, and then you couldn't have been more proud of him yesterday. It was just fantastic. We were talking about last night, we were talking with brother-in-laws at Blade and saying one of the best away matches, and obviously I've been to some great, and 6-0 at Millwall, 6-2 at Burnley and whatnot, but that just felt, I think because it's been so long, it felt special. It felt really special.
Yeah, it's relief. It's a bit of relief as well in there as well, because what's happened in the past, you just feel that weight lifted with a bit of relief. Stephen Mick says it was a very special moment as well. Donkey's a big fan. So it's totally humble listening to you lads. Very. Hannah says a big plus. Hugill is always available. Will stay for another year. Do we think we would let him go? I want to let you defend Hugill, Mick, from Rob Dixon. Says, please stop with the Hugill nonsense. He's just after an extension. Fingers crossed Matt Hampshire doesn't fall for it and shakes his hand in the summer and sends him on his way.
If anybody thinks Jordan Hugill needs money, he needs an extension of his contract to live a good life, they're wrong. He's not there for it.
I think that's hard. I think it's hard. Not what Kev said, what Rob said.
Yeah.
But even if he is, that means we're getting. He's doing well for 6 months and he's putting positive performances. So what if he's after an extension? Doesn't matter.
Look, he's a centre forward. He's a number 9, and he's not scoring goals. Is the black and white of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not black and white, and it's not black and white at all. This is. It goes a lot further, even off the pitch. We know that he's contributing on the pitch. Arguably, we've had this conversation. Some of us think he might be better off the bench. Some of us think he's better starting, whatever. But he can make a contribution to the game. and he's got huge experience. He's got huge experience that he can impart on some of these younger lads, and players of Jordan Hugill's age and experience are vital in a squad as young as ours. You know, we don't want a squad of Jordan Hugill's age-wise and experience-wise. Nobody needs that. You don't need it because of Matt Taylor did that, and look what happened. But he's vital to having in and around the squad, even if he's not playing, because of what he's done, because of what he brings to it. And if he is playing the way he does, with his heart on his sleeve, and he's committed to it, and he's enjoying his time here, he's going to bring even more to these younger players because he's in a settled and comfortable environment. So it's not just about whether or not Jordan Hugill puts the ball in the back of the net, because he isn't. It's a fact he isn't doing it. And we can argue with the tops whether or not he's getting the service or otherwise. But I'd have him in the squad, and I'd have him for another year. I definitely would. His wages would have to be reduced, clearly, because he's still on big money. But what he can bring outside of those 90 minutes, as well as what he can bring, which is limited, I accept, within the 90 minutes on the pitch. But what he brings outside of it is just as important, because the squad is young, so inexperienced, and they need to learn off people like him. That's my view, anyway.
Yeah, and if you speak to anybody, we obviously interviewed Peltz. We didn't speak too much Peltz about Hugill on the podcast. We spoke to him after, and he talked about Hugill being a great guy. And if you talk to anybody that's played with Hugill that I've spoke to, they all think he's fantastic in terms of the dressing room. Yeah. He has such an impact. We're not talking his football ability. We're talking the way he is with people, the way he can help these young players develop, and everything else that comes along with it. But he has to perform a little bit, and he is performing that little bit that we've asked. He's certainly increased his performances. From somewhere we were anyway. Matt Miller says, "What a turnaround! Not long ago's podcast couldn't wait to get rid of him. Now he's flavour of the month." Well,
but you move on, don't you? You learn, you see, you watch what happens, and you take a different view sometimes. You're right. There were times, particularly in Championship, when we were calling him from a pig to a dog and saying how crap he were. But there's a bigger picture now, isn't there? Particularly now, given the squad that we've got.
It's a beautiful game, mate, and we all want the same thing. And like, this is football, yeah. It's ironic that all those guys were like you just said, giving dogs abuse, and we're all now not Hugill fans, but we appreciate what it gives us. And the other podcast actually hated Hammy, and now they all want Hammy. So that's football. But we all want we're all you know, end of the day, we're all Rotherham fans. We all want the same thing, and we're all happy, whether it's a different angle. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Paula Rose says, "Spot on, Mick. She's unofficially adopted Jordan as her great nephew." I like it. Tom, I'm aware I haven't asked you any questions. Anything you want on the Jordan Hugill or striking situation? We're going to talk about the virtual trophy very briefly because I don't care too much about it. But is there anything you want to add on all this nonsense we mentioned, Tom?
No, I just couldn't help thinking that, 6 months ago or at the start of the season, having Mick say that he wants to keep Hugo around for an extra year would ever have happened. So I found that quite funny.
Well, you said that, right? You said that. Wait while the end of season prediction show, then you'll find out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look for that.
Just saying.
Yeah. Also, well done, Mick. You predicted 1-0 Rotherham United. Please score prediction.
I'm on the way back. I am mirroring this team. I was in relegation zone not that long ago. Look at me shooting up table now.
Yeah.
Kelly's right with that point, by the way. Kelly just made a very good point, and that's exactly what we were all been screaming out and saying for. It is almost like Ami's got on him and said, "Stop doing it. Stop doing that. You're better."
Yeah,
I agree. Although, if you listen to the Red All Over's instant reaction, they had a complaint about Jordan Hugill throwing himself around a little bit, which I enjoyed.
I liked his dive. I liked his dive in first half for a penalty. It was just like it was proper. The Mark spit, weren't it?
Yeah, I'm not getting this ball. Oh, I'm just going down here.
Yeah.
Right, very briefly on the virtual trophy, Tom, because we've done an hour, but very quick on the virtual trophy. If we win, we're through. So it's a game in terms of the competition. It's a must-win game. But in terms of everything else, it's obviously not too important. Are you going? Bear in mind, it's another week before another league game. Are you going really strong, or are you going strong for the FA Cup? Rather, where do you sit on it?
Well, you want to keep winning. You want to keep performing, bring that momentum through. But I think you got to rest. a lot of the players. They've been ill for a week, and by the sounds of it, it was quite a violent illness. So I think they all deserve a bit of a rest. So those who have been on the fray can step up. I think you go a bit weaker, quote unquote. But I mean, if you look at our squad now, you're bringing in players like Drew Yearwood. You're bringing in, your Reece Jameses, your Kellys. It's not weak per se. It's just players that haven't played their way into the starting 11 of the strongest side yet. So yeah, it's not weak, but you take a rest with players that you can, just because of how much they've gone through. Saturday, Tuesday is tough. So yeah, and they've all been ill. So yeah, I'd go a bit weaker.
Yeah, I would as well. The only question for me was, I think this Nombe clearly hasn't been able to start 2 games yet. Are these 2 games where you can kind of give him the hour? Because it don't matter, again, it's not massively important. If you don't finish with Tam Nombe, it's less important against Man City under 21s than it would have been against Barnsley, if that kind of makes it. So you can do what he did against Sheriff, did against Oldham, and just play him for an hour, and then maybe do 80 minutes against Swindon on next week, and then we maybe got our Nombe back almost. Or would you not risk him at all?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd play him, but I don't think I'd give him 90 in either game, to be honest. It might start one of the 2 games and just to 60 minutes or whatever. But it's an ideal opportunity to really just ease him in a little bit further now, isn't it? Give him a little bit longer and a little bit longer ready for the Burton game. So I have no idea what he's going to do on Tuesday in terms of selection. I don't think anybody has. And yeah, it'd be nice to get through, but not going to moan too much if we don't. To be perfectly honest, just get again. We've said it about this competition, or I have, right from the start of the season. Just get some minutes into some legs, into some players who are not getting regular first team football.
Yeah, absolutely. These Manchester, again, not to harp too much on it, but it's Manchester City under 21s. They lost, I think, 5 or 6-0 to Oldham, to Bolton, sorry, but they did lose to Oldham. I think the information's not loaded, but I think I'm pretty sure that's how it was. So
I think Nombe will start both games. For honest, I think he'll play. Like Mick says, I totally agree. I think he'll play half of the game against Man City, and I think he'll start in the FA Cup and probably play 75.
Yeah.
Is Sharif fit?
Probably not. Reading between the lines, Everton are being super cautious with him. But Amjad said Everton didn't want to risk him, so I would have thought not, because this would be perfect for him.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be intrigued to see Sharif and Nombe play as not necessarily as a 2, because I think it'd be like almost as a 3 with Martha. But I would like to see how they would link up, because a couple of times I thought, you know what, I feel like they'd work quite well together. But I think it's a nothing game. I definitely don't think we should be playing like we did against Oldham, the real young lads like Kane Richardson and that, because that did not work. But definitely giving Yearwood, James, Kelly, etc., Jack Holmes maybe a run out. I think be worth doing.
Yeah, I agree. Scott Kent says they beat Oldham by 5, if you remember rightly. Yeah, I think that was right, but then they got badly beaten up.
3 now.
Yeah. Dunky D. FA first, not the trophy. I agree.
Yeah.
Cup run. We should have told Rafa we did a cup run. But we'll see that anyway. So we'll keep an eye on that, because I said it's the last week of games for the virtual trophy for us this week, and then we'll talk about Swindon on Saturday. No, we'll be back on Thursday for that. Anything else we need to mention from anything?
I would just give Lee McMahon a plug for 29th of November. Potential competition coming up on that, so keep you posted on that. On this podcast, maybe, who knows?
New York Talk, the home of competitions now, is it?
The home of competitions, yeah. It's another one of these in relation to Miller's 25, which Millerman 25, sorry, which Kev's been involved with. All proceeds from this are going to the hospice.
Okay.
All profits for the hospice. So 29th of November, after the Wickham game. I think those open about 5 o'clock. Lee's on stage about 8:45, I think. But 2 or 3 other bands, all from Rotherham, performing as well. Tickets are £12. Get down there, support. Please support Lee. Please support these other bands. It's and obviously support the hospice.
Yeah.
So we're going to be banging.
If anyone's not been to the Cutlers, are worried it's going to be freezing cold. I was there Saturday night. I was there last night. Yeah, last night. It's amazing in that bit now with the stage. The heaters up, all enclosed. It's amazing. So don't worry about that. It's a brilliant venue. It's a great cause, and Macca's does so much for. Considering he works for Sheffield United, does so much for us.
Yeah. Me, Mick, and Tom went last year. It was in December, I think, and it was such a good night. Lee's great.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that. Most of us will probably be there.
And we're going to finish Millimen. He will be doing an acoustic version of Millimen, possibly, arguably, maybe the last live performance of it. So
there you go. Right, we're going to finish on best headlines. We asked everybody to send in their best headlines to sum up the game yesterday. What?
I've won.
You've won. We have. LDG says, game spun on a slick Spence. Sixpence.
Yeah. Not really.
Adam Marcus says, Millers rejoice at Dingle's expense. People have gone hard on Spence, which is quite good. Sean says, sensational strike seals the 3 points.
Oh,
good one. Gav says, Derby Day suspense. Very good. And Richard Etches says that Spence Screamer puts Tykes Hoodoo to bed. Bit of a classic one. What would you like to pick as your winner on that one, boys?
Mine.
Kev, obviously.
Is that not a conflict of interest, though? Were you being on it, Kev?
All right, you can keep your £1 million prize. Just give me the title. I don't care.
Tom, any picks?
I genuinely like Kev's.
Okay,
obviously.
I genuinely did. They're all very similar. Yeah, you know.
You could be a bit more enthusiastic about it, Tom. Jeez,
they're all good.
People have put effort into this.
Yeah, they're all good. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't want to pick one out of so many good options.
You've just picked mine. Am I changing mine now?
Yeah, it's because you're here, Kev. I got nervous.
All
right.
Right, thank you all for watching. So thank you all first of all, everybody who put your name in the hat for the shirts. Kevin obviously will sort out getting those signed shirts out. If you haven't done so already, go back and watch the Joe Rafferty interview. It wasn't just time sensitive, so if you want to go back and listen to the Rotherham United captain, do so. We were there, but I thought it was really good to speak to him, really interesting, and Mick even asked an interesting question.
Did that?
Football as a social media, which was interesting to hear his answer on that one. So go back and watch that. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. We're now 54 away from 2,000 subscribers. That keeps going up and up and up and up. We want 2,000 by Christmas. That's a pretty big ask, to be honest with you, because we're less than 2 months away. But please do keep subscribing. You can't keep subscribing, but subscribe if you haven't done so already. What you can do is give this video a thumbs up, because that helps show everybody else that you've liked it. So give this video a thumbs up. We will be back on Thursday, which will be a preview of the Swindon game. We'll probably do a scout report. See if there's a Swindon fan around that we can get low down on them, because they're doing very well in League 2 at the minute. And there we go. If you're actually on Spotify, like, subscribe, follow, whatever it allows you to on your particular subscriber. Mick, thank you very much. Tom, thank you very much. Andrew, Kev, brilliant to have you back with us. We will see everybody next time. Thank you for watching. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got round the back? And Richard Wood has done it again! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly!
Do me a favor, drop me off